Hey there, lady. I'm Molly Connolly, your coach and hype woman on this journey to transforming your love life. Whether you're navigating life after divorce, exploring the world of online dating, or deepening the connection in your committed relationship, I'm here for you. Why me? Because I walked this path myself. From filing for divorce just 3 years into marriage, to swimming in the online dating pool into my late 30s, and finally marrying the man of my spreadsheet dreams right before the world changed forever. I've seen it all. As a relationship coach, I empower women to create love lives filled with clarity, connection, and confidence. This podcast is all about building a strong foundation for a healthy relationship with yourself and your future partner. I believe the man of your spreadsheet dreams is worth the wait, and together we'll ensure that you are ready for him when he arrives. Join me each week as we dive into insightful discussions and hear from savvy guests. You'll gain the courage to break free from limiting beliefs, recognize and change patterns that are holding you back, and learn to prioritize the number one relationship in your life, the one you have with yourself. So let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to Reinventing the Arena. Why, hello there, lady. Welcome back to the podcast. If you are new here, thank you so much for listening in. Now, if you've been listening to the show for a while, make sure to subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you listen so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoy what you've heard over the course of these 118 episodes, I'd love to know. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. You can also send me a message on Instagram. Over the past 2 episodes, I talked about dating with authenticity and handling rejection authentically, whether that's you being on the giving or receiving end. Today, we're getting into how to embrace authenticity in your love life. In previous episodes, throughout a variety of topics and situations, I've mentioned how knowing yourself is the key to unlocking your authentic self and having a genuine connection with a partner. I won't go into these areas in depth, but as a reminder, it's having the self-awareness to know your values, your goals, and what you truly want in a partner. Plus, understanding your strengths, weaknesses, and emotional needs in and out of a relationship. You can always deepen your awareness through practices like journaling or self-reflecting. Overall, self-awareness is the foundation of change. So if you don't like the situation you're in, start developing and deepening your self-awareness to help you connect those dots, make better choices, and move through similar situations with wisdom. One way you can do that is by examining your story, the story you're telling yourself about your love life. How are you letting yourself be you when you're dating? How much does your online dating profile resemble who you are in everyday life? If who you are in everyday life is not the person you have on your dating profile, you're not going to find a genuine connection, or at least one that's long-lasting. I have seen this with a few of my clients who are showing who they used to be or who they want to be on their dating profiles, but then in reality, they're completely different. For example, either having low self-worth and no longer caring for themselves like they used to, or even burning themselves out from rushing to find a partner who can commit, yet their profile says that they want to take time to find the right man. So how do you embrace the transition of bringing these two sides of you together, the side of who you are in reality and who you want to be or become? You have to start embracing your authentic self and review how you're self-sabotaging your authentic self is a must. With each and every client, and even myself, there's self-sabotaging behaviors. I'll forever be a recovering people pleaser and a recovering perfectionist. These are constant behaviors that show up in my life and will be friendly reminders of how far I've come from years ago and even yesterday. But deep down, we are all people pleasers. We want people to like us. We want to have connection. We want to have a sense of belonging. We want to feel secure. And, we want to trust a partner who will accept us for who we are. That is our end goal, to find that love. Yet continuing to please others only brings you short-term satisfaction and fulfillment, okay? Eventually, it's going to create resentment, bitterness, and anger at the other person when subconsciously you're, mad at yourself for not doing what you want to do in the first place. So think back to when you were in grade school. What was one subject that came so easily for you? Was it art? Was it math? Was it science? Was it reading? And then what was the subject you hated and had trouble with? When you people please, you're basically taking your least favorite subject and putting on a smile, pretending to enjoy it just so that the teacher likes you. How does that feel? If you've been working on your people-pleasing patterns, you're going to notice this internal reaction that is not bringing forth your authentic self. The more you uncover the areas where you're trying to people please, the deeper your awareness becomes, allowing you to shift into being your authentic self in the moment. This is when boundaries come into play. Setting boundaries within yourself is one of the best ways to start putting yourself first and embracing your authentic self. So when you return to a self-awareness practice, whether that's reflecting on a recent dating experience, or maybe it's a time with friends or family, note when you did something because you wanted to, and then times when you did something because, you felt like you had to, or because you didn't want to let that person down. Start comparing these moments and craft boundaries around them. So for example, Brad and I have traveled back to Omaha from St. Louis for Christmas since moving here in 2021. We are the only couple within each family that has both sets of parents living in the same city. We constantly go back and forth between both families or splitting up parts of our vacation with one side and then the other. We extend our time there so we can see friends who we haven't seen, whether they're traveling back into Omaha for the same thing to see their families, or if they still live in the area. We even do our best to stay in a hotel so we're able to have our own space and mostly try to be on our own schedule. With all that said, the holidays are not fun and relaxing for me, and we have yet to celebrate our first Christmas in St. Louis without feeling rushed to do all the holiday things, pack, and even just rush to get out the door on our road trip. This is why we started implementing new boundaries, and I had to release my people-pleasing side. I had to have a heart-to-heart with myself, stating it's okay to not go back and see family for a holiday. I had to remind myself that other family members don't make it back every single year. I had to remind myself that other people in my life don't see their families over the holidays, that it is completely normal for us to have our own Christmas traditions. I didn't want to let my parents down or make them feel alone, but I can't control their feelings. I can't control how they're going to react or respond. I can't control any of that. But what I can control is how I feel, is how I respond, and how I reinforce my boundaries with myself. Needless to say, I had the conversation with my parents, and they completely understand why we want to have Christmas in St. Louis, especially because they also went through the same issues during their first few years of being married. Sometimes when I see Christmas decorations, I think of how much I love and enjoy my mom's Christmas decorating at her home. And I start to waver on my boundary. I have to remind my people-pleasing side why the boundary was set in the first place and what benefits I will have by staying home this year. Plus, my future self is going to thank me in the next few months when all I want to do is relax and enjoy time with Brad, creating new memories together. If you're in a relationship, showing up authentically with your partner and discussing boundaries you want to set as a couple, like this, like I just shared with you that we did, is really important to do. And it takes teamwork. And teamwork, it takes trust, communication skills, and support to fully execute So you two are standing side by side when changes arise in your relationship. Now, if you're single and trying online dating or thinking about getting back out there, you might need to look at your boundaries around the 4 resources. That's time, energy, effort, and money. I recommend reviewing how you're spending each of those resources in your life and then layer in how they're being spent in your love life. So if you feel burnt out and exhausted, where is that coming from? Are you working more than normal? Have you started a new workout routine? Or have you been staying up late just because? All of these questions can be answered and reflected through the eyes of those 4 resources. Start putting boundaries in with yourself around the 4 resources in order to replenish your authentic self. When those boundaries have become habits, and what people say, it can take a few weeks or even just 21 days to form a habit, you can start crafting boundaries with others, such as what you're comfortable with and what your needs are in a relationship. By creating boundaries with yourself, it will give you a steadier foundation to communicate your boundaries with others. And when you can communicate your boundaries, you can also stay true to yourself and your values. Values help drive and define who you are. My boundaries are around making a difference and freedom. Both of these show up in my daily life and overlap in all areas of my life. I can express them in numerous ways, and I'm aware of when they are not present in my actions. So by knowing your 2 values, trying them out in your life, and deepening your awareness of when you're out of alignment with your values, you can see how they affect your relationships and your authentic self. When you take note of those people-pleasing moments, think of which value and what boundary was crossed. This will help you determine what your values are if you don't know. If you have multiple values, more than 2, see how they can roll up into one another. Implementing these personal development strategies, the self-awareness of your story that you're telling yourself about your love life, the awareness of your sabotaging behaviors like people-pleasing, the self-awareness with knowing your boundaries and values, and then taking action, even just baby steps outside of your comfort zone, will begin the process of returning to your authentic self. Now, if you're someone who has been listening to the podcast for a while and you're thinking, I have all of this down, this next part is for you. When was the last time you celebrated yourself? Really, a time when you were so excited for yourself that you couldn't contain your joy. You can always tap into the feeling of joy by remembering a joyful moment. Bring yourself back to that moment and feel the joy within your body. Step into that feeling and allow a smile to come to your face. What makes this memory unique? What makes this moment so special? You do. Really, you do. Remind yourself of all the things that make you you. Don't hide your passions, your quirks, or your hobbies. Your unique qualities are what make you attractive to the right partner. Let them shine by going out and just doing them. By enjoying your passions, your authenticity is just going to rise to the surface naturally. And that's how you're going to attract people who resonate with your energy and share your values, which at the end of the day is going to create deeper and more meaningful connections. When you're enjoying what makes you you, including those hobbies, your quirks, you are more present, which allows you to fully soak in the moment, which then again fosters that connection with whoever you are with. Engage in these mindfulness exercises such as meditation to stay grounded in who you are and strengthen your ability to show up authentically in your relationships. Now, this isn't just like a one and done practice. By continuing to develop and pull your authentic self to the surface, you're going to build stronger relationships. Maintaining your authenticity will get easier with time. So today, I want to challenge you. Take one step toward authenticity in your love life this week and share it with me. You can send me a message on Instagram or tag me on a post or a story. I would love to hear how you're embracing your uniqueness and authenticity to have stronger and more fulfilling relationships. And if you're single, attract the right person into your life. Thank you for listening today. Next week, I have our October guest, Dr. Ann Ramsdell. She is a scientist, speaker, coach, and breast cancer survivor. You will hear a conversation that touches on resilience, the importance of a support system, and the transition from surviving to thriving. Enjoy your day, lady, and I will chat with you again soon. Thank you for joining me on the Reinventing the Arena podcast. I'm your host, Molly Connolly, a relationship coach devoted to helping women reinvent their love lives. Tap the subscribe button so you never miss out on an episode. You can always find me on Instagram at Reinventing the Arena or learn more from me on my website at reinventingthearena.com.